Welcome students. Today's class is going to be very interesting. In the morning, when you open the newspaper, you will be seeing a lot of crime being reported, starting from adults up to a child. Different types of crimes are being reported in the newspaper. Why do such crimes occur? That is what we are going to study today. In this class, I am going to explain to you definitions of crime and deviance, factors felicitating deviance, variations in deviancy, misconceptions about deviant behavior, and finally, some theories on social deviance. Society has developed several devices to control human behavior. Although socialization process makes people adhere to the social norms, the society applies certain regulative mechanisms to control their behavior. Majority of people conform to the expected norms of their society most of the time, but there may be violations of norms occasionally by some members. Depending on the severity and frequency of the violation, the violator will be termed as deviant. For instance, taking a small quantity of a drink in a party is acceptable in the present society, but making it a regular habit and consuming alcohol every day and becoming a nuisance to the family can be considered as a deviance. Deviance evokes a negative response from the society because it violates society's norms. An important factor relating to deviance is that the acts of deviance differ from society to society and period to period. Deviance is a social construct, which means that the members of the groups define what is deviance. As Young and Mack have pointed out, no norm is always obeyed, no individual always conforms to every set of expectation. Therefore, going against the rules is there always and everywhere. Now, students, I will give you some definitions of deviance. According to Horton and Hunt, the term deviance is given to any failure to conform to customary norms. For Louis Wetson, deviance can be defined as behavior that is contrary to the standards of conduct or social expectations of a given group or society. Klinard refers to deviancy to those situations in which behavior is in a disapproved direction and of sufficient degree to exceed the tolerance limit of society. There are certain factors that facilitate deviance. H.M. Johnson has analyzed many social conditions under which deviancy is likely to occur. Some of those factors are: 1. Faulty socialization. There may be unfortunate situations under which some children may get socialized, which might have left bad effects on them directly or indirectly. The family or the school might have failed to inculcate certain values strongly. Absence of a father in the family might result in juvenile delinquency. Bad companionship and uncongenial environment at the school produce spoiled and deviant children. 2. Weak sanctions. Social control is exercised on people through positive or negative sanctions. When such sanctions, either positive or negative, are not strong enough to bring conformity or appealing to the individuals, they simply ignore it. For instance, if housebreaking has the negative sanction or the punishment of a simple fine, then individuals will just ignore it. They are not afraid of the punishment. 3. Poor enforcement. Sometimes the sanction could be very strong in written form or in public opinion. If the enforcement is not up to the mark, then people try to make use of the situation and overlook the norms. They will find loopholes and escape punishments. A good example is the poor enforcement of traffic rules. The traffic police sometimes ignores the misuse of rules because he considers it as a trivial matter. As a result of this, the riders to ignore the rules. For example, wearing a helmet. 4. Corrupt enforcement. When people know that the enforcing officials are corrupt, they do not hesitate to deviate law. The deviants are sure that they could escape punishment by bribing the official. 5. Ambivalence of agents of social control. Coexistence of two contradicting emotional values in the same person might also lead to deviant behavior. For example, a poor man may know petty theft is bad, but still his responsibility to educate his son might force him to house lift if he wants to get money at that point of time. The sixth one, subcultural support of deviance. Many subcultural groups exist within the larger groups. There may be some groups holding destructive ideologies. In that case, a man with weak personality who gets into contact with this destructive group will get a support from the already existing gangs. The chances are more for him to deviate. Moreover, the contact will enable the deviant to continue the negative act with their support. Many times, young boys who are initiated into drug use get supports from the already established gangs, which force them to be permanent victims to it. 7. Sentiments of loyalty to deviant groups. It is often found in gang subculture that each member should show loyalty to the group. The members pledge that even at any crucial point they would not betray the group. All the members of the group are obliged to cooperate, hence the deviant activity of the group perpetuates. 8. Secrecy of violations. Some deviant activities committed by the criminals are not known to the public. They are sure for some reason that their behavior would not come to the public. Under such circumstances, the deviants do not hesitate to perform that crime. For example, sexual abuse and molesting of children. As the next part, I will deal with some variations in deviancy. The first one is, less important norms are violated more frequently and the degree of non-conformity is greater. The group toleration is more. Secondly, another factor that affects the degree of tolerance is the situation in which deviation occurs. Thirdly, the characteristic of the violator is another factor that is taken into account for punishment. A child or a mentally challenged committing a small mistake is not considered to be a crime at all. Fourthly, societal variations are found in considering an act as deviance. For instance, female infanticide prevailing in certain communities is tolerated as a cultural practice, whereas killing a child is a crime by law. Fifthly, the definition and toleration of a crime varies in a given society at different points of time. Students, there are several misconceptions about deviance. We think that crime is committed due to certain reasons, but in actuality it is not so. Certain research works have given the real factors. I will explain them to you now. People hold common beliefs about deviance which are scientifically proved to be false with data. Some of the popular beliefs are, some acts are inherently deviant is a popular belief, but many deviant acts are relative to time, place and status of the individuals. It is commonly believed that deviants are socially identified and recognized, but the fact is that most deviants are not socially identified at all. The general conception is that deviants purposely and knowingly break the law, but in actual situation most deviant acts are performed driven by emotion or due to drug effects. The common notion is that the deviance occurs because there is a dishonest and selfish element to human nature, but the research shows the most deviants do not attribute their deviant behavior to dishonesty. They justify their acts are right. Next, I will explain to you certain theories of deviance. There are 4 major sociological theories of deviance. They are functional theories, integrational theories, conflict theories and control theories. Other than these theories, there is one biological theory and one psychological theory explaining deviancy. a brief explanation of theories is given now. First, I will explain to you biological theory. Biological theory focuses on innate qualities within individuals as the source of crime and deviance. It distinguishes three main types of human physique, namely mesomorphs, which is characterized by muscular and active type of individuals. Secondly, ectomorphs who have thin physique, and thirdly, endomorphs who are fleshy people. Among these types, the mesomorphs are more aggressive and therefore are more likely to become delinquents according to this theory. The second one is psychological explanation. The psychological theory of crime presents explanations of deviance within the individual and not on society. This theory concentrates on the personality of the individuals. Hans Eysenck has suggested that abnormal mental states are inherited and hence create problems in the process of socialization, disposing an individual to crime. Psychopaths are withdrawn emotionless characters and sometimes they commit violent crimes too. Now, I will explain to you some sociological theories, functional theories. These theories consider crime and deviance resulting from structural tensions and lack of moral regulations within society. Durkheim feels that in the absence of clear norms, individuals become anomic. He believes that under such conditions, anomic characters commit suicide or crime. Durkheim states that deviance has two important functions in society. One is to introduce new ideas into society by way of deviating from the existing models. Secondly, deviance promote boundary maintenance between the good and the bad, and it also improves group solidarity among the rest. Robert K. Merton analyzes deviant behavior based on the lack of social integration. This theory is called the theory of anomie. Merton identified 5 possible reactions to the tensions between socially endorsed values and the limited means of achieving them. They are conformists, innovators, ritualists, retreatists and rebels. First, I will explain the conformists. These people accept both the socially endorsed goals and the conventional means and always conform to them. Innovators, they accept socially approved values, but not the means. Ritualists, ritualists conform to both the social goals and means just for the sake of it, because it has been done that way always. Retreatists, retreatists abandon both the social goals as well as means and drop out from the society itself. Rebels, rebels reject both the existing values and goals, but actively substitute them with new ones. The second type of sociological theory is interactionist theory. Interactionists focus on deviance as socially constructed phenomenon. Edwin H. Sutherland asserts that criminal behaviors are learned within primary groups particularly peer groups. Contact between subcultural groups encourage illegal activities. The labeling theory interprets deviance as a process of interaction between the deviant and the non-deviants. According to this theory, no behavior is intrinsically deviant, but it is labeled as deviant by the society. The third one is conflict theories. Conflict theories reject biological and psychological theories and argue that individuals choose to engage in deviant behavior in response to the inequalities of the capitalist system. It analyzes crime in terms of structure of the society. The next one is control theories. Control theory points out that crime occurs as a result of an imbalance between the impulses towards criminal activities and the social or physical controls that deter it. Travis Hirsch argues humans are fundamentally selfish and make calculative decisions to engage in criminal activities by weighing potential benefits of it. These are some of the theories that are given in sociological studies. Now, I will explain the social consequences of deviance. Socialists view the positive aspects of deviance also. Deviance can contribute to the stability of a group by helping it define its own identity and thus creating a sense of cohesiveness. Deviance may also lead to social change because the deviants innovate new behaviors and practice new standards departing from the conventional norms. So, deviance is observed commonly in the social life and it has definitely some social consequences also. Okay, students, in this class I have been talking about deviance and social control. In the beginning I gave you some definitions and also factors of deviant behavior. Then I explained the variations and misconceptions regarding deviance, and in the last part I elaborated some of the theories of deviance. Now, students, I will ask some questions to you. The first question: define deviance and explain the factors that facilitate crime in the society. 2. Write the misconceptions regarding deviant behavior and the research findings. 3. Discuss the importance of various theories of deviance. Okay, students, with this we complete the first part of deviance and social control. In the next class, I will explain to you what we mean by social control. Till then, bye.